Let me check the time. It's 17:13. Right. I'll go up to 17:43. Thank you.
Before you start, we must explain this. Yeah. The first speaker, when they started speaking, it was at 41. And that is why when Honorable Nomvalo spoke, it was until 11. And then when Honorable Sols had to start questions, Honorable Matthys wanted to make a statement. And there has been a time lapse. So it must be explained why the lapse is now at 43, it's no longer at 41 or 42. And you have not started, yeah. That's why I want to check the time before you start speaking. So for the 2 minutes that we have used now, your time starts at 5:15. Yes, and then you will run for 30 minutes. Your time starts now.
Ngithokoze mgcini sihlalo. Ngiyakulotshisa General.
Dumela, honorable member.
Namhlanje ilanga labomma lokukhuluma isikhethu noma ngabe ukhuluma yiphi language ngicabanga ukuthi nesikhethu esiyasazi mhlambe ngibethe nesuthunyana lapha nesipedi mara ningangihleka ni mara ngizokhuluma isikhethu but for the sake of time ngizakubetha isikhuwa msinyana.
Is the language called skethu?
Isikhethu isindebele.
Oh.
Yeah. Ya uyasazi bari isindebele ngithi?
Ke mme wa ka Letebele sina.
Asitebele ke indebele. Yeah, ngithokoze Lieutenant General, the Deputy Commissioner. Chair, I think in this country there was this misconception that the Deputy Commissioner is only General Sibiya. There's 3 Deputy Co-Commissioner, and one of them, I think, is yourself. Am I right?
Yes, you're correct.
And you've been in the police for many years. Your CV is very impressive, I must say. And I guess I'm going to start with one question which has been going on, and I've asked many generals about this matter of Senzo Meyiwa. I'm not sure whether you were still with the province at that time when Senzo Meyiwa was killed.
That's correct.
You were still with the province?
Yes, I was in the province.
Now, in your opinion, are you happy with that investigation from the police of Senzo Meyiwa? Let's forget about the court for now. What is happening in court is something else. But are you happy of what exactly happened in the scene where Senzo Meyiwa was killed in Vosloorus?
With what was presented to me by the team, I think they were still on the right track.
I'm sorry?
With what was presented to me by the team at the moment, I think I did indicated earlier that at the time that the incident happened, I was the acting provincial commissioner in the absence of the then provincial commissioner, Lieutenant General Mutiba.
Yes.
What was presented to me, I was satisfied that the team is still on the right track. What differs will be the pressure that the team had to finalize the case with speed.
So are you convinced that the people who were arrested are the right people?
I'm convinced.
And are you convinced that it was correct for General Sibiya to be on the scene on the day?
I called him.
I'm sorry?
I called him to the scene.
So it was correct for him to be in the scene because he said he was called by someone.
I called him. He should have.
Not necessarily you.
Yeah, but I'm confirming that it's me who called him. Maybe somebody else called, but I called him precisely because he was the provincial head of DPCI at the time.
Because what he presented on the Matlanga Commission, he said that almost everyone who's in the DCPI was under him.
In Gauteng.
In Gauteng.
Yes, he's correct.
Yeah. Now, I think the displeasure of the family and because of Senzo Mayiwa, he was a national hero. There's issues, there's holes. They poke a lot of holes in this matter. Hence, the matter is still in court. We are watching with interest of what is happening there. But there's an issue of unhappiness that the conduct of the police in that scene where Senzo was killed leaves much to be desired.
It is a regrettable state of affairs, but what the team presented at the time that they attended to the crime scene, hence the provincial leadership of the detectives, I believed that they did what was expected of them at the time.
So what was the role of General Sibia in that incident?
Normally with high-profile cases, you will have a multidisciplinary team so that they can guide and assist one another. Both General Sibia and General Daiwe were the head of detectives. General Daiwe and General Sibia was the head of the Hawks.
So there's no interference at all, in your view?
From him, no. At the time, no.
At the time?
At the time. And
but
I will
of
qualify.
what we know now, what would be your view?
With what is presented, again, must be investigated and he must be proven.
Now, General, let's come to the statement. I just want us to clear these paragraph, and I think I said it to you, because I want us, because we are under oath and, there's a case against you of perjury, so I don't want to compromise you. I just want us to clear this once and for all. Paragraph 29. On March 6, 2025, I attended a meeting with Minister, Commissioner, the Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Sibia, Lieutenant General Kumalo, Chief of Staff, Kabinde, and the Regional Commissioner, Detective Forensic Service, Lieutenant General Sintumeling, and Lieutenant Colonel from Crime Intelligence, Lieutenant General Kumalo, made a presentation on PKTT at the meeting. And I think Honorable Nomvalo said it. I think he started to say the presentation proposed that this establishment and the disbandment of PKTT, if considered, will take form of transition from the National Political Task Team to the component serious and violent crime, murder and robbery within the division of the Detective and Forensic Services. Then when you go to paragraph 36, I do not recall any meeting in which it was suggested or even directed that the task team as a whole should be demobilized or disbanded. I can confirm that I was not in any meeting where the minister raised the issue of the PKTT, in particular on the disbandment of the PKTT. I can recall the initial engagement with the minister in terms that he should, whether certain operational matters and initiatives were presented, indicated that the new ministry support existing initiative and that the status quo of the current operational intervention in various provinces must be maintained. He reiterated that he has full confidence of the National Commissioner. Now, these two, they contradict each other. I would just want you to clear up, and then we start to depart on this, what we presented and what you have attached on your submission.
Paragraph 36, maybe chronologically, was supposed to come before paragraph 29, but it's no, I will clarify that a confusion that you are raising. Paragraph 36, it's referring to matters prior to the letter of the 31st, meetings that were held prior to the meeting of the 31st. And I think I was looking at the minutes of the meeting of the 1st of November before the directive was issued. On paragraph 29, it is now where the team was requested to present, and we were discussing now. It's after the 31st of December 2024. And paragraph 36, it's making reference to any other meeting prior to the 31st of December 2024.
So it's the issue of the chronology here that
It's
it was.
the issue of chronology. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, General, because the issue of the PKTT is being exhausted, many times here. Now, I just want to say that the honorable members, I think they've asked that because you've been in, I think at that time you were an acting national commissioner, am I right?
That's correct.
And you only knew about the matter on the 2nd, not on the 1st, am I right?
I did not pick it up. It was on the email, but because it's festive season, it's the 31st, I did not open the laptop. I was on the ground.
Yeah, in
So
fact,
the
yeah.
emails I did not see, and I will not say the emails will be in the office. I have the iPad, I have the laptop, but because I was already on the ground, I did not see the email on the 31st.
Yeah, in fact, we were surprised because it happened on the 31st when everybody was in a good mood. In fact, the minister took that decision unilaterally. So, but I think that has been canvassed enough here in this committee. Let's come to this issue of Paul O'Sullivan. Paul O'Sullivan, do you have confidence in him?
I don't have confidence.
Do you have trust in him? Do you think that this so-called forensic, I call it fraud, for a forensic company, because of what is presented to me now, alleged for now, and I'll have some backing on that, but that will be the decision of this committee at the end, whether is it authentic or is it involved in all these shenanigans which happens in the top echelons of the SAPS and other security agents in this country.
Okay. Maybe to conclude on the confidence part,
Yes.
that now after everything that is happening, you do not just trust the person. I think the intuition of a police officer in me, you do not just trust. I think it was coming from there and after everything that was said. But in terms of forensic, I will not, without facts, doubt that the forensic investigation team that he was involved with was authentic.
Yeah. Yeah, because himself is not a qualified forensic investigator. I mean, we found out here he claimed to be an engineer, and now he knows beyond reasonable doubt that he's not. But be that as it may, we will, because it's coming back here. Let me ask you now on this matter, because Honorable Mantheis, I think, is the one who asked about him. Because it was alleged that the matter, let me start by asking you, do you know Bandile Masuku?
No,
Have you ever spoken to him?
no.
Now, because there was an allegation, why I'm saying that?
Bandile Masuku in Gauteng.
An MEC
No, I know him.
at that time, you know him.
I know him.
Have you ever spoken to him?
No, I don't think so.
You don't remember?
Unless
maybe.
when we are attending an event in Gauteng.
Because if you remember well, there was an allegation because your Paul O'Sullivan and these some journalists, Stratcom journalists, Mariam Tam, you name them, Karin, the name is Van Veek, Paula Van Veek and others. There was an allegation that a forensic report which was commissioned by Gauteng Health MEC Bandile Masuku has cleared him of any wrongdoing in the Gauteng personal protective equipment scandal. And the allegation was that the person who in fact sent the integrity committee of the ANC and that you recommended Paul O'Sullivan to Bandile Masuku, and in return, Paul O'Sullivan made a report to clear Masuku, and he sent that report to the Integrity Committee of the African National Congress. But the allegation is that Paul O'Sullivan was recommended by yourself. Is that true?
It's not true.
Now, you never send any email which recommended Paul O'Sullivan or copy him or singing his praise on the issue of Jackie Slebe.
No, I don't remember.
Are you aware that ANC Integrity Committee preferred Paul O'Sullivan on the report over the report of the SIU in concluding or alleged Masuku and Loiso involvement
I'm not aware.
in the PPE issue in Gauteng?
I'm not aware.
You are not aware at all.
No, no.
So you distance yourself from this.
I do distance myself. I did not recommend. I did not send email recommending.
So you never recommended Paul O'Sullivan anyway.
I don't remember doing so.
Now, is it true that the SAPS, in fact, let me start by asking you this question, because Paul O'Sullivan said he opened dockets. You can go to any of his interview. He'll say that I'll open a docket. In my understanding, a docket can only be opened by a policeman or policewoman. Am I right?
You are correct. He can give statement, but he cannot open the docket.
But he's the one who's saying he's opening docket against people. It's not me.
No.
And I'm saying, what are you going to do about that? Because now you know that he has done that and is doing that and brazily so, boasting that I've opened a docket against this person and this person. I've said this police station are not opening a case. It says it's opening a docket.
Maybe we need to clarify and which context of opening a docket. Maybe the reference of him opening a docket is when he either give the statement that will then be taken into the cover SAPS 3M, but he will not open the docket himself because he cannot commission a docket. He will give the statement only the commissioner of oath. In the case of a docket, a police officer will have to commission the statement that he's presenting. He is not a police officer.
Yeah, in fact, because he's coming back, he'll have to answer us on that because it's himself many times that is opening docket. And I was surprised as well that understanding that there's this allegation that he has contaminated the top echelon of SAPS, IPID, IDEC, and if I may ask you, in terms of IDEC and or IDEC, in your view, for them to have all the powers of arresting, because we are told that they are intimidating you as well as top echelons in the police service. What is your view on that? Can you make a comment?
They do have arresting power that was conferred to them on the proclamation that was made by the president. So they will arrest. But intimidation, I think they need to investigate cases to arrest members, and it should be the matter that warrants the arrest. They have not intimidated me because I think you said you and others. I have not yet been intimidated. Maybe they are still coming. Maybe they are still coming. So far, they haven't.
And in terms of IPID, are you happy with the way they conduct themselves?
Look, they are my colleagues. We are working, we are engaging. The fact that it's taking long to finalize my matter, the fact that they had the docket that they were not supposed to have, will not make me not to have confidence in them. I think it's the matter of correcting what is wrong. That is what I believe in.
In your submission, you submitted one of the honorable members a statement, yes, one affidavit, Honorable Fidel Adams. Am I right?
That's correct.
He made a lot of allegations here about nepotism He says that Ms. Kutso Makwela, the commissioner's daughter-in-law, reportedly joined SAPS under the circumstances which normally recruitment and vetting process appear to have been bypassed. It's alleged that the background check, qualification verification, and the competitive interview process were ignored. Is it true?
I don't know. I'm not in the HR space. Maybe HR can confirm whether that happened or not.
But have you ever heard of that, or is it first time?
I saw it on the statement.
Now, there's allegation against you to say that there's a cover-up in the case where your cell phone, and I think you explain it vividly for us here, to say that because of the SIM card, I think if you have to clear yourself, this is the time. That he is alleging, because he's still going to come here as well, so it's good that we are here before him, that the evidence suggests that the stolen cell phone linked to a theft was traced to Pulani Mutaung, and relevant to the incident was reportedly obtained. However, the case was abruptly closed by Major General Sibula, and there's no record confirming whether the footage was reviewed by independent investigators. Major General Sibula, a close ally of a national commissioner, was assigned to oversee and close the file, which raised serious concern about a conflict of interest. My question is, because he is alleging that this was closed prematurely. Because you remember that you said yourself that you were still traumatized because you were once upon a time held at gunpoint. You know, hence I'm saying this country, I don't know what is happening at your level. A general, people have the audacity to come and hold you at gunpoint. Now, understanding that this troubled you, as you said, but for him to allege that you are concealing an evidence is a serious allegation. Can you really just clarify the issue of a SIM card, that you borrowed a phone, you know, a handset, you know, and perhaps you did the so-called SIM swap, I guess. I don't know, but can you explain for us in short?
Because of my position and the operational nature, I cannot go beyond 2 to 4 hours without a contact.
Yes.
So immediately when I reported the case, I used the other phone, and the office started the process of getting the SIM swap, and they did the SIM swap and presented the card to me that they don't have a handset. Therefore, I will need to find the handset in the meantime, and the following morning, because it was already late, they will make arrangements with the office that is having loan phones to borrow the handset. So in the meantime, as I was waiting to get the loan phone, I had to improvise to get the handset. I did not have an alternative handset, hence I borrowed the handset to insert the SIM card so that I am reachable. So that is the reason why the phone was activated. It is the SIM swap that was activated whilst I was awaiting to have either a loan phone or a replacement of the phone, considering that the matter happened on a weekend. So I had to find the handset immediately so that I'm reachable, including that if the investigators will want to get hold of me, they will reach me. So I had to activate my number.
Thank you very, very much, General. How many times have you acted as the acting national commissioner in this country, if you remember?
If I include the past week, including weekend until Sunday when the national commissioner was out of office, I think it will calculate to 11 times.
Now, you've got an extensive experience for 36 years or 38 years, if I remember. That's what you told us today.
36 and a half to be precise.
Now, I want to go to the issue of border management. EMA. The role of the Border Management Authority and yourself, do they have the capacity as well to arrest to open dockets? What is your view on that as well? Like, as I ask you about IDEC, I'm asking you now about this BMA.
With the powers conferred on the BMA officials and in terms of
Section 5 of the BMA.
Section 4, 2, and Section 5,
Yes.
the BMA Act, yes. But their arrest, they will hand over the arrested person immediately to the police for further processing. That is why it is important that the police should not work very far from them.
Do you agree that we have serious challenges in the border post? Entry and exit.
I agree, we have.
And what are you doing about it?
Prior to this directive that was given to have a revised plan, the directors general of the cluster have already summoned the NAT joints to establish what we call priority committees, to have teams and persons that will work. There will be a chairperson of the priority committee that will later on report to the NAT joints leadership, which is myself, alongside the other two co-chairs persons and the DDGs, the deputy director generals of the department, is appointed to be sitting on the NAT joints.
Now, this, I think you've raised the issue that the BMA is not mandated to detect or disrupt criminal networks. Am I right?
That's correct.
And the power, furthermore, do not override the need for a dedicated capacity to detect and all those illegal activities as is exercised by SAPS. Now, my question would be, with the current scenario which South Africa is facing of illegal immigrants, I see you spoke about rotations, that they are rotating members. In terms of percentage, are you happy as the management of SAPS, especially as a Deputy National Commissioner, of what is happening in our border post? With all illegal immigrants coming in and out, posting, videos, how easy, and understand that as well, the South African Defence Force are involved as well in the issue of making sure that this country is protected. But this alleged corruption in the border, post, hence I'm asking, what measures are you taking? Because this thing, it's viral. It's like we don't have borders in this country.
I believe we do have borders. We just need to have a proper management of the borders, hence the establishment of the priority committee that director generals are aware of, and the fact that we are working side by side with each other in the borders. And I think what will have to come out clear is that the capacity will never enough.
Yes.
Looking at the magnitude of the problems that we are having at the borders.
With my 4 minutes left, I'm going to be quicker as well. The issue as well, because yourself, you raise it, that there's a high volume of illegal activities, such as smuggling, human trafficking, illicit trade, is often concealed under the guise of legitimate cross-border movement. Now, don't you think that there's duplication between yourself and the BMA? Hence, we have this high volume.
I don't think there is a duplication. There's a need for the coexistence. Hence, BMA will coexist with other structures such as customs, as well as the National Defence Force, equally with the police that will then be discharged with a classical policing at the borders.
Now, you remember that there was a plane landed at OR Tambo.
Yes, I know.
Those people had nothing. How possible is that? How do they bypass the immigration? Wherever country they come from, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or Ethiopia, or anywhere in the world, or Nigeria, to come to our airport, land there, What is your take on that?
Maybe it was correct that they did not pass.
Yes.
It became
Didn't pass,
topical.
yes.
It became topical because the team was alert and they were able to intercept. Engagements happen. I was called. I engaged the directors generals responsible, and the necessary implementations were undertaken, including at the ministerial level. So they did not pass any security measures. They were attended to.
Yes, I understand that. But what I was saying is that they had to be kept for hours and hours at OR Tambo. As you said, SADC, like myself. Is it a problem of the SADC countries or PAP for them to allow people to leave their countries and say, you know what, South Africa is free for all? You know, but because they came with a aircraft, maybe that's where the problem was. But if they were using what these our neighboring countries are doing, crossing through the rivers, it means they will have been in this country, am I right?
Should they have used
Yes.
other forms?
Yes, yes.
And we should recall as well that they used a chartered flight.
Yes.
And it was intercepted because information have reached the intelligence communities that were operating.
Thank you. General, my last comment is that General Mkwanazi was very brave to go in public and say there's a rot in this country. We have to reset the country. And I hope that with your experience as well in the police service and your colleagues, let's not let down this country. Let the South African Police Service maintain its integrity. And let's reset, because we know now, even if it's still allegation, but there's some evidence which even a kindergarten kid can see that there's a problem in this country. Do you accept that?
I do accept.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, General.
Dali. Honorable Cameron. Honorable Cameron.
He sent his apologies to you, Chair, so I'm filling in for him.
Okay. Honorable Kola Barnett. Your time starts now.
Thank you, Chair. Lieutenant General Mosikili, you've admitted that the email that we were discussing earlier originated from home13404@gmail.com. Now, given that the source was never traced or authenticated, how did you or anyone in your office verify the authenticity of what was presented as a ministerial directive?
Whether the email is correct or not.
Where it was from?
It,
Could have
no,
been
the email with the directive came from the Chief of Staff, not from email home 13404.
Okay.
The email 13home@1304.
Yes.
I think it's here. It's one of the recipients of the email that was coming from the official email, SAP's email of the Chief of Staff.
So we don't know who that belongs to. It could be a hacker, it could be anybody. And no one has ever traced where that email went to, came from, who it's linked to.
I think I did indicated that with my engagement with the Chief of Staff, he did indicated that it is in the office of the ministry. And it was confirmed in this meeting that it belongs to the minister
A
himself.
person.
Yes,
Okay.
to the minister himself. I think confirmation is that Mr. Nkabinde said it's the minister's email.
Okay,
Private email, yes.
yes, private one.
Yes.
In your capacity as chair of NatJoints and given its mandate to coordinate national security, did NatJoints receive any formal intelligence or informal warnings prior to the 6th of July 25 regarding the existence of a sophisticated criminal network allegedly infiltrating the SAPS, the NPA, and the State Security Agency?
No, it was never received by
So
NatJoints.
if no such intelligence was received, how do you explain what appears to be basically a complete intelligence failure at the highest level of national security coordination?
It may not amount to intelligence failure. And I will qualify because General Kumalo is part and parcel of the NICOC, and he has this information. It might have been discussed in the NICOC. NICOC is National Intelligence Coordination Committee of the infiltration within the ranks. But I think the infiltration needs to be qualified as well. That what I referred to earlier is the cartel, not necessarily on any other matter of infiltration or the involvement of collusion. I think even myself in some of the presentations that I would have made before the Portfolio Committee of Police, we did consider that there is a problem of collusion, there is a problem of corruption. It is living with us. I cannot sit here and deny it knowing that it's happening. The only issue that I cannot confirm is on the drug cartel.
You see, Lieutenant General Mkonazi described what he termed a functioning criminal network embedded within the state. Now, did NatJoints ever discuss the rather extraordinary fact that he felt compelled to go public, flanked, of course, by armed special task force members, because he apparently had no confidence in the internal security channels under your coordination?
He never raised it with the NatJoints per se, and prior to the July 6th, there has been a number of operations and task teams that were formed, including those that will be coming from intelligence community itself and presenting to the NatJoints and the structures on matters to be attended to. And I think the issues of criminal networks, in simplest terms, where you will have a form of collusion, it is a value chain in the criminal network where you will need to have somebody at the NPA to know that your matter will go, and you'll have somebody from the police that you know if the investigation is done and it's presented to NPA to prison. That is the network that I think General Mkonazi is referring to. Hence, I am confirming the issues of collusion, that when you have the chain, in the chain of criminal justice, you will get away with some of the things. And I will sit here and confirm that that has been detected and that is happening. That is why I will talk on number of officials, both from Home Affairs, that in the cluster itself, that were found to be on the other side of the law, members of the South African Police Service that were found to be on the other side of the law, and they are all have been investigated and sent to prison. The NPA, I think you know that there are senior, very senior, some acting NDPPs, DPPs that were found on the other side of the law, and they were dealt with accordingly. So actions were taken.
So they were dealt with prior to him making his...
Prior to him making his.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the president described the allegations as a matter of grave national security concern. Was NatJoints consulted before he placed the then Minister of Police on leave?
Before placing the Minister of Police?
Yes. Did he come to NatJoints? Did he consult with you at all before placing the then minister on leave?
No, I don't think it, no, it's not the matter of NatJoints to place
And what about the suspension of Deputy National Commissioner Sabia? Did he mention this to you?
No, it's part of the administrative justice. It's not part of NAT joints. It's actually the operational arm of the cluster to investigate, to undertake all the operations.
So his appointments had nothing to do, that they had no reason to be brought to you?
To NAT joints, no.
Okay.
No.
Now, the General Mkhwanazi presented WhatsApp communications and financial records allegedly linking associates of the minister to criminal suspects and suggesting advance notice of police operations. Have you conducted, as NatJoints, conducted your own internal audit to determine whether other sensitive operations were perhaps similarly compromised?
I think in this case, when such is detected, it will then be referred to a relevant investigative body to continue with the investigation. It is now beyond the NAT joints itself.
Now, the task team investigation linked, sorry, could I ask you to lean back, Albert? Sorry. Thank you so much. The task team investigation linked weapons ballistically to at least 10 high-profile murders, including the assassination of DJ Somebody. Now, given that NatJoints is meant to oversee intelligence fusion across provinces, why was this apparent modus operandi of a single hit squad operating across provincial lines not identified and disrupted at an earlier stage?
It is the investigation that is already on the investigative arm of the cluster itself. So there is no need for a proper further coordination of the NatJoints bodies to do, because it is already on the task team that is multidisciplinary in nature that is doing that investigation. So there is a distinction between the matters that will come to the NatJoints and from the NatJoints to be operationalized. Sensitive matters of this nature, you will not want to see that bigger team of the NatJoints to be dealing with the matter that needs to be dealt with by the investigative capacity. So in this case, it was detected by the already established PKTT, and they will undertake that operational requirements that it's sitting with information at hand. So it will not require to go back to NatJoints, because if that happens, there is a possible leak and infiltration of that particular information.
Did NatJoints interrogate the rationale behind the disbandment of what many have described as a highly successful task team?
No.
No. So you just accepted the developments without actually scrutinizing what was going on?
Because there's already a project in place, and the project is reporting to the higher body from the NatJoints.
Okay. The president's now established 147.9 million rand Judicial Commission of Inquiry into matters that a single provincial commissioner exposed in a 1-hour press briefing. Now, given NatJoint's mandate to ensure coordination and prevent exactly this type of systemic failure, do you accept it's possible that NatJoints actually has failed in its duty, looking at what the Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi has stated?
I don't believe NatJoints has failed.
So what personal accountability do you take for not bringing the crisis to the fore through formal national security channels before it actually reached the stage where he felt he should stand up and speak as he did?
Maybe I should qualify that by making an example. NatJoints have now developed the organized crime strategy or plan. From the strategies plan, now it's going to be operationalized. There is no need for the investigative team or that task team to come to the broader meeting of NatJoints to come and present, but rather to report to the structure. With the development of every plan, there will be a governance structure that is developed within the plan itself that will determine where the reporting lines should be. In this case of the example that I'm making, after the team, we call it the National Organized Crime Combat Group, their reporting line will be to the NatJoints chairpersons, not the broader NatJoints meeting, and will report to the JCPS ministerial team. and to the National Security Council. So it's not all matters depending on the weight or the gravity of the matter that will go back to the lower structures. It will then be reported to the higher authority as approved.
Was this formulated before his press conference or after his press conference?
No, it's a recent, the example that I'm making is the
We
recent
can say as a result of, perhaps,
part of, yes.
partly.
Yes.
Okay. Now we understand the PKTT was funded via national allocations, but there have been many claims from KwaZulu-Natal, from whence I come, that stations are experiencing severe resource shortages, of officers having to pay for detainees' food, tires and vehicle repairs paid for out their own pockets because funds, they claim, were reallocated to the PKTT. Now, from your position, is there any evidence that such funding decisions were being taken?
No,
No.
it's not correct.
Okay.
And I think General Dimpani, my apologies for interjecting, General Dimpani did indicated how funds are allocated and how accountability goes into the funds that are allocated to the provinces, to the stations, and to the task teams. There is a task team separate budget, and this is where the budget of the PKTT and other task teams, national task teams are coming. And that it's in my office to manage all the task teams that we are undertaking in the
So that's
country.
completely false.
It's not correct.
Yes. So I ran through some of the witness statements that have been made over the months and months we've sat in this room. One witness testified she acted after receiving reports of physical and emotional abuse by members of the PKTT, tubing, unlawful searches, fabrication of evidence, delayed court processes, and pressure on officers to fabricate statements. Have you heard any such complaints?
I heard it for the first time when it was presented in here.
Yeah.
And maybe it did not come to me because of the proximity to the team itself, but it might have gone to other leadership that is very close to the way the claims were made.
Okay.
In this case, the immediate commander of where the PKTT is, which is the project leader, or the commander of that particular team.
And you've not heard of any reports of systemic abuse within the PKTT? Or any evidence that they shielded certain political actors rather than prosecuting them?
Not to me directly, no.
Right. Concerns were also raised about mandate creep, I think is a good phrase, particularly the definition of political killings was unclear, and that the PKTT took on dockets with no political motive, and sometimes outside of the province they were assigned to. What's your information there?
That is not correct as well.
Okay.
Any other matter that the team will undertake, it's because of the directive that they will have given. And if my recollection is correct, when the matter was raised, it's because of the investigation that they would have undertook on the Fort Hare matter. They were requested to assist the Eastern Cape team, and I was sitting in that meeting, myself chairing, General Sibia, General Kumalo, General Mene, who was then the provincial commissioner of Eastern Cape, with the national commissioner in Eastern Cape, when the decision was taken that this matter, it's sensitive, is taken long because of the capacity, that capacity in terms of the manner of the approach of the PKTT. Can they assist in the Fort Hare matter?
Okay.
And I think with the Namhla matter as well, which is in the Eastern Cape, they were also requested to intervene and assist the team in that regard.
Okay, just finally, your comments on 4 reasons that the then minister, gave for the closure of the PKTT. Please just comment. I mean, he claimed duplication of work, that it duplicated the functions of already existing units, such as murder and robbery and serious and violent crime units. Was there a measurable duplication? Was the PKTT addressing a distinct intelligence-driven gap?
Minister would not have requested the intervention in the Eastern Cape taxi violence if PKTT had that challenge because it is the similar approach that I sent the team to Eastern Cape to intervene on the Mosikili. It is the similar approach of the team that was sent to Western Cape, Lockdown 3, to intervene. So they are similar task teams, and this happened after the PKTT story, or the PKTT came into play, or his assessment of the budget and budgetary constraints that the department was experiencing on the PKTT.
Okay, he also stated that the PKTT, quote, no longer required nor added value as a standalone structure. So what metrics was that conclusion based on? Do you know?
The fact that there was a further request to submit a close-up report, only if that report was presented at the time. If one will be rational, then it will only then be with what you are presenting with this close-up report. Then this is what I am deducting from this. So therefore, it is no longer relevant. So you can't prematurely say it is not relevant when the report has not yet been submitted. I believe.
The final two would be unsustainability and national scope of crime. It was argued that the PKTT was an unfunded temporary structure and that its functions should be embedded within the SAPS for institutional accountability. Now, if institutionalization was the goal, why was this team dissolved rather than restructured and formalized?
I think there were attempts to have a team. In my personal view, we will end up having task teams or units for everything if we are to take every challenge or commodity criminal-wise and establish a unit. Hence, the position to have task team to dismantle the challenge, and when it's dismantled, will allow the normalized situation to be undertaken by the business unit concerned.
Okay. Finally, the former minister argued that political killings occur nationally, which they do, not only in KwaZulu-Natal, and that a regionally focused task team was insufficient. Now, if that was the concern, why was the solution closure rather than national expansion?
It will be extended or national expansion if the threat has not yet been neutralized. I will make an example that I made earlier, that we experienced the same in Limpopo, in Jerusalem. The team was sent, the threat was neutralized, the main suspects were arrested, some were sentenced, some were eliminated, and the team, the lifespan was ended. So there was a call again that the similar approach that we have of the PKTT be extended to Gauteng because the similar challenges were experienced.
So you're saying once the political killings have dropped,
Subsided.
subsided massively in KZN, they should just disband the PKTT. That should have been the decision.
And put the alternative in place,
Yes.
because you can't disband without putting an alternative. The experience, the history has taught me that if you just disband without having neutralized the situation, the recurrence, it's likely to happen.
Yes.
That is why from time to time, we must intervene in the Western Cape, in the Cape Flats, because
Absolutely.
the threat has not subsided.
No, you need that unit here, frankly. Ma'am, I thank you, Chairperson. I'm done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lieutenant General.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you so much, Honorable Diana Kalabanat, Honorable Vessels.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm covered. No questions from me. Thank you.
So much, Honorable Sangone.
I am also covered. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Matthews. I'm exercising my benevolence, but this is not even an act of benevolence, it's an act of leadership. when your time expired, you were asking the witness about a very sensitive matter of the unfortunate passing away of Senzo Meyiwa. And I'm going to give you that opportunity for the witness to respond to that question. It's a matter of national interest. I understood that at that time your time had expired, but we have to do justice to this matter. On that one,
Only, Chair, because
yeah.
we just have some questions of clarity. It's not
On
a
that
question.
one, and please do not abuse your fellow members.
But Chair, this is a very serious matter of clarity that we need.
Let's get to the question first. The question that you wanted to ask.
Earlier that you will allow a round of questions of clarity.
No, let's get to the question of Mr. Senzo Meyiwa first, and then we will hear the next that you wanted to.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, it was on, Lieutenant General, it was just about the particular crime scene on that night. But I think you answered that you went to the hospital. You answered Honorable Sauls. You went to the hospital first, and then you said you went to the crime scene, which is the actual house of the Kamalo family in Phosphorus about 2 p.m. Was it 2 p.m. or around 9 p.m.?
AM. The early hours.
Oh, sorry,
of
yes,
the
I beg you. So it was
and I
wasn't
think
9 p.m.
Yeah, it happened very long time ago, but my reference to 2 a.m. is because when I arrived at the house at the time, it was just after 3. So I just estimated that it could have been because I did not stay long, not more than 20 minutes at the house, and I proceeded home, which is from Phosphorus to where I was staying next to Alberton. It would have taken me 40 to 45 minutes drive.
So the forensic team, had they collected and finalized collecting all what they needed to at the scene when you arrived?
No, they were still
weren't.
busy.
They were still busy at
Yes.
about 2 a.m. when you arrived.
Yes.
Did you find a bullet in the door?
No,
You didn't, so you weren't involved in that. The reason I'm asking that when you got there, was the crime scene still secure when you arrived at 2 a.m.?
it was still on. The crime scene was
crime scene
still on.
was
It was
still
still
secure.
cordoned off. Yes.
So if there were 2 witnesses, well, at least one, who was just an ordinary citizen who knew the family, and they arrived there and no police stopped them. They walked through the door, through the kitchen, turned left and went into the bedroom. No one asked them any questions and the scene was not secure. What would you say to that?
After the cordoning off of the scene, no one can cross the line. So I
what
don't
if
believe.
there were, and what if it was I was one of that, or I was one of those 2 people who got access? Nobody.
Before the cordoning off of the
During-
scene.
yeah.
It's before the cordoning off of the scene.
The police, there were a lot of police there. And I hate to bring myself and make this matter about me, but this issue of the crime scene being contaminated is very serious. And I went there along with a friend, but that person will have to come forward. And we probably got there at about 11 o'clock, about 11 p.m. After we've been told. Nobody asked us who we were. We literally walked in. We walked through the kitchen. That place was big. There was not a trace of blood. Nobody stopped us. And we went to go and sit in the room with the baby and the kids. That's what happened.
I was not there.
No, I'm not saying you
I
weren't, but
don't
I'm
think-
saying when you got there, the scene was secure
Yes.
and nobody was allowed in and out. And I'm saying that I'm one of 2 people that I know for sure that went there. So that scene was contaminated. So you satisfied, as you were head of detectives, you were the acting national provincial commissioner at that time. And you said you were satisfied that forensic had done a proper investigation.
With what was presented, I said, when I arrived, I was briefed what was presented. And if I was aware that you were on the scene, I could have requested the statement. If you have.
I didn't know that there was an issue around the scene. So when I arrived there, I would have thought that's why I asked where the forensic had completed. And I would have been shocked if they would have completed it in such a short period of time, given that the place was very clean. There was not even a trace of blood that we saw visibly. So I would have thought that if that was the case, they would have to do some other forensic cleanup to see where the blood was removed or whatever. But I don't have experience in that, but I'm just imagining from what I've watched on crime scenes that, or crime TV, rather that's what would happen. I'm not saying that is what would happen.
I wonder what you have
Thank you.
said to the team to allow you in.
Didn't, that's my point.
No,
I
it
just
cannot
walked
be
in.
correct.
I'm not lying. And they
It's
didn't know.
not
who I was.
correct, but because you are mentioning it, I think from time to time, with the challenges, we take the gaps, we go back and we teach our teams, because education happens from time to time. And it was a mistake if you were allowed to be on the crime scene when the scene was cordoned off. Actually, if you were not related, if you did not say you were related to the family, what was coming next was the arrest for contamination of the scene.
Me?
That is what was supposed to happen.
But I didn't force myself on there. I didn't know.
Honorable
But
Sons.
that's fine. If you'll have to arrest me, I will expect. Okay. But Chair, I'm begging you, but this is in relation to something that's very important.
Honorable Souls.
Yeah, but it's a question of clarity, please. It's just about, please, I'm begging you, Chair. It's a question of clarity on the testimony that Lieutenant General gave on whether she sent an email to the Gauteng Health MEC about recommending Sullivan. It's something that is very important. And I have an email that I would like to submit to, but before I do that, we don't want to arrest the witness. So it must go through evidence leaders, so Lieutenant General can comment on the email.
Okay.
Can I forward the email to our WhatsApp group as, what would you like me to do, Chair? Can you give guidance?
You have not,
Send an email.
you have not
She
sent,
didn't remember.
you have not sent it.
No, I haven't, because I needed guidance. It's a
Yeah.
screenshot of an email because Lieutenant, a comment. Mr. Listen to me. Honorable Kosana asked about an email.
Yeah, let's
Initially, Lieutenant General said
live
she did-
let's live
said she-
by
She doesn't remember.
let's live by our decisions and our customary practices. And you know, the matter that we are dealing with was suggested by you, how we must process it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to send it to the group. I don't want to
Yeah.
raise it now.
If you had intention to ask, you were supposed to
Just
have
got
done
it
it.
now, like literally.
And you do it immediately when we are listening to Honorable Souls will come back.
No, we didn't have it then. I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but now do that process. We listen to Honorable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. General, just for clarity on the questions I asked you about the statements you made under oath on your experience at Macro, is TSM 10, do you confirm that it is your statement?
Reference?
Yes, TCM 10.
Yes,
It is your statement.
yes.
General, TCM 10, your statement is different than the typed statement. In content.
Are you asking a follow-up question, Honorable Souls, or
No, sir.
are you raising a new matter?
No, sir. Remember, was that the general submitted 3 statements, 2 handwritten and 1 printed. And I said it was 3 different statements. The general said it was the same statement in content. It was just one was handwritten, the other was typed.
So you are clarifying
Now I'm clarifying.
the point that you earlier asked.
Yes, sir. To
Go ahead, you are allowed.
Thank you, Chair.
You don't have to justify yourself anymore.
All right.
I'm just trying to make sure that you are not raising new matters, but it's a clarity seeking questions.
Yes, sir. It's a clarity seeking question.
Thank you so much.
The General, you just confirmed that TCM 10 is your statement.
I still confirm yes.
It is materially different in content to your typed statement.
If the material difference can be explained,
Yes.
but I'm going to explain again the difference between
Yes,
the type. The type statement, it's not meant for the docket. It was the extraction of the first statement that is before the TCM 10. TCM 10, the other one is TCM 9.
yes, that makes it even worse. It makes it even worse because the handwritten statement number 1
Yes,
is similar to the printed statement.
yes.
The second statement, handwritten, that you also say it's yours,
Yes.
I'm saying those statements in content, all by yourself, is materially different. You asked me to explain the difference. Here's the difference. In TCM 10, that you confirmed is yours and done by you under oath,
Yes.
you say you met Tato at Mecro. You further go on to say you left Mecro and you heard a voice say hello. When you looked, you saw it was Tato. You went into the other shop, not Mecro, some plastic shop. When you came out, Tato met you at the exit. Then yourself and Tato had a conversation. Then yourself and Tato left to have something to eat at Burger King. After having something to eat, he asked you to drop him at the gate of Mecro. When you dropped him, he ran. Then you realized your belongings was gone. You tried to chase after him, you couldn't find him. That's TCM 10. The printed version of a sworn statement now also says, you met Tato at Mecro at the door. Tato accompanied you in to assist you doing your grocery shopping. Then you got to the line at the cash register. You realized your purse was gone. So was Tato. The entire Burger King and all that is not in that statement. So I'm submitting to you based on what you have given us. There's 2 statements under oath, different in content.
Can I respond?
Please.
I have explained the first statement. Let me refer to the type statement because it's the same statement as the first statement. I have given, looking at the issue of the loss of property. So it was a shorter version. Investigators then requested to give step-by-step account of what happened, hence the supplementary statement. And the 2 statements were kept in the docket because the other one was the expatiation of the first statement that was short. And I don't see where I met Tato at the door on the statement. I said I met Tato in the shop. There is no door on the typed statement. There is no door that is mentioned. But if that is what the member is saying, given the shorter version of the statement, which was also explained that the shorter version was given, and given the investigation process, I then have to expand on movement by movement that I have
General.
undertaken.
You are a police official. You know that when you state a version of events, you must state the version of events as it happened. You don't do summary versions of your statement. Paragraph 59 says that you say, I made a subsequent handwritten statement to the SEPS investigator in addition to the first statement on 6 August 2024 regarding the theft. And that's TCM 10.
In addition,
In addition, you're saying that the added details should have been now on the second written statement, the added details should have been on the printed one. Because the printed one now is what you're saying, here's the final one. And I'm saying the content is not the same.
I never said the.
Let me
Type
just ask you
is-
this. Let me just ask you this, and then
Can I correct that because now you are saying I said it is the final. It's not the final statement. It's the extraction of the first statement. That was meant for the loss file, not the docket. It is the same statement typed for the purposes of the loss file.
Is the printed statement the same as TCM 10?
As the first statement,
Is it the same?
a shorter version of
And that's,
TCM 10.
so it is different.
It's not different. It is, the second statement was expanding on the movements that I have taken from arrival to the time that I realized the loss. And
that should be the one statement, because that's the complete version of what happened, because you're explaining the crime or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That should be the version. But then you give a different version.
Honorable Souls, let's get.
Can I clarify? It's not.
Can we get your response?
Yeah, it's not a different version, Chairperson. It is the first statement that was short, that was just reduced in typing. It was the same statement that was typed.
That left out information.
That left out information that was added now on the supplementary statement. And it happens often to submit a supplementary statement. Hence, even today, I submitted a supplementary statement, and it's the supplementary statement of the other version. It's not replacing the version, it is supplementary. Hence, the two statements were kept in the docket. If it was meant to be a different version, the other statement could have been taken out of the docket.
Okay. Honorable Skosana, where is he? Honorable Matthews, did you do what you wanted to do? Yeah. Okay. Can I check who else has a question so that we don't abuse other members where ANC? Do we have one person who wants to speak?
No, the ANC doesn't have any additional questions. Thank you.
MKP? No. DA?
I thank you, Chair. We're covered.
Bangazita?
No, Honorable Chairperson, thank you.
Honorable Vessels?
No, I'm covered. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Souls?
Nothing, sir.
Okay. So the last two speakers will then be Honorable Matthews and Honorable Souls. Honorable Skosana. Honorable Mathis.
Thank you, Chair. Has that screenshot been sent to who it needs to be sent to? Has Lieutenant General received it? Because she can't respond to something she hasn't seen. That was the whole point of putting it in the group, because we can't bombard witnesses with things. It hasn't been done.
I thought you were doing it when we gave you time.
Chair, I sent it in our group ad hoc committee. How it gets to that is the process the secretariat and the evidence leaders must do. So I assumed that was what was happening.
No.
Okay, so I did the right thing. It's in the group.
We said we run by the legal team.
Okay, I don't have access to the legal team. Okay.
I received.
Okay. Let's hear the question, Honorable Mathis.
Okay, so Lieutenant General, this is information that we received from the public, and we just want you to respond. I don't know if it's legit, if it's not. I mean, it's obviously something we can investigate as a committee, but can you respond to the screenshot of that email that appears to be sent from you to the then Gauteng MEC for help?
Thank you, Chairperson. This is not my email. The names are mine, but this is not my official email. I've never used the email that will have my full names and the surname in the subs. In 2022, I have long left Gauteng. I was never in Gauteng. I was at head office at the time. So this is not my email.
Okay, thank you. So at no point have you ever solicited any business from your contacts on behalf for Paul O'Sullivan for him to do any forensic work? Because there's a difference. Lieutenant General, you make us worry when you say you don't remember opposed to I haven't done it. Because you started off answering, I didn't. And then when we said email, when Honorable Kosana said email, then you said, I don't remember. So those are regular things that witnesses do when they're not sure. So it makes us suspicious because it's like, this is a red flag. So it makes us think, okay, if you not remember, do you not remember this or you didn't do it?
I did not do it.
Okay.
The email that you have shared does not belong to me.
Okay.
I am refuting
Okay.
any knowledge of this email, and it is not the email that is in the subs.
Okay.
Otherwise, it was created for somebody for nefarious reasons. It's not my email. I don't
And
use
any other emails?
Never.
You have never recommended Paul O'Sullivan to do any investigations?
Never.
Okay.
Maybe it's my English to say I don't remember doing it, but I meant I have not recommended Paul O'Sullivan to do any investigation to anyone. I've never done that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. Chair General, I just wanted a clarity on this one because the issue of General Sibia being at the scene of Senzo Meyiwa, it was alleged, you might know because you've been in charge of at that point in time. We were told by the media that General Sibia was on leave. Is that true?
General Sibia was not on leave. I wouldn't have called Sibia if he was on leave.
Thank you. Hence, I'm saying we want to clear these things here. This is a right platform because out there's a lot of issues. Thank you.
Advocate Mokhaitsi or Advocate Mukize, is there anything you want to clarify with the witness?
No, Chair, nothing from my side. Thank you.
Okay. General Mosikili.
Chairperson, let me take this opportunity, if it's my time, to thank yourself and the committee.
Before. Your colleagues who have come before us here as witnesses have corroborated each other that one of the major reasons why high-profile cases are jeopardized or contaminated is because there often is parallel deployment of investigating teams to one crime scene. Is that correct?
If not properly coordinated, it has the likelihood of causing problems. But if you want different skills, like calling them at the same time, it will not be confusion or conflict at the crime scene. But
what they said here is not that the teams go there to complement each other. They say parallel investigative teams.
Parallel has likelihood of causing confusion.
Yes.
And contaminating the scene. Yes, I agree.
That is the observation that was made by your colleagues. They said it under oath here that what jeopardizes our investigations is that often we have parallel teams going to the same crime scene. And we were asking ourselves, where is the line of authority? You're serving the senior management of the SAPS. Where is the line of authority in the SAPS if things like this can happen? Where people can just rock up at a crime scene. The case in point is one case where Advocate Batoi came and told us that there were multiple teams, and General Kumalo also came before us and said, in most high-profile cases, the interest becomes so more than sufficient that you have multiple teams rocking up the scene.
What the organization has taught me and the experience is that when you arrive first at the crime scene as the investigator and you take control of the scene, irrespective of the level or a rank, you cordon off the scene, you take charge and command of the scene, meaning you will have to direct who walks in and who walks out. That is the principle.
No, I agree with you. I want to hear it from you, whether it has also been your observation that we are failing to succeed in the following cases because of this multiple or parallel deployments of investigators. It harms our opportunities. It's like police officers are fighting over cases. Is that happening in the SAPS?
I'm thinking of the incident when and where it happened.
They mentioned the Senzo Mewa case as a typical example. It was said by the director of public prosecutions when members were asking why for so many years now, it's 10 years now, why aren't we moving DPP and DPP? We had your head of intelligence coming here asking, we asked the same question, why? And the answer is one.
Chair, if we're making reference to this case in particular, if coordination is not done properly, the likelihood of contamination, yes, or parallel investigation, there is a likelihood. But if there is a proper coordination and we follow up all the investigative protocols as set out as we have trained members to do, chances are very little, meaning you will indicate to the other team that the skill that I require from you, it's this particular one, so that we supplement each other, not to do the same thing. But it cannot be correct that in all material times, if you have two teams, if they are properly coordinated. If they are not coordinated, yes, there will be a challenge.
And do you agree with this committee that in cases where there is a more than sufficient interest from police officers, there should be a suspicion of corrupt behavior?
If there wasn't a coordination and you were not supposed to be at the crime scene, yes, there will be suspicion for corruption. Why would you go to the crime scene if you are not supposed to be there?
Okay. This ad hoc committee is investigating, amongst others, alleged corrupt behavior by members of the South African Police Services. You have been here for 36 years as a police officer. Do we have corrupt police officers in the South African Police Services?
Yes, Chair.
Do we have corrupt officers in the senior management of the SAPS?
Alleged, yes.
No, you must help us. We're not saying mention anybody by name. We're not saying give us details. Do not answer the question that I have not asked. We want to know here as Parliament, we must deal with the problem.
Okay.
In the many years that you have been in the SAPS or in the senior management of the SAPS, have you observed corrupt behavior in the senior leadership of the SAPS?
I have not seen, but I've heard of the allegations. Hence, I'm saying to you, as I
And how serious were those allegations?
Very serious, Chair.
Those allegations, as you heard them, do they have potential to erode the public confidence in the SAPS?
My personal belief is that they will, if they are not attended to and addressed sufficiently.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
The little, even if you have had one or two, the little that you have had, let's say I'm an ordinary member of the public, I want to hear whether the SAPS is coming or going. So in your position, if you have had these allegations of corrupt behavior and you say they are so serious, I'm asking you, are they so serious to the extent that they can erode, like you say, if they are left unattended, if nothing was to be done? Are these allegations so serious that they can erode public confidence in the SAPS?
Yes, Chair. If they are not attended, yes, they will erode.
We have been told here about a report of a report of a consignment of cocaine to the value of 500 million that was transported from Durban or from KwaZulu-Natal to Gauteng, allegedly by members of the SAPS. Have you heard about that report?
No, Chair.
You haven't heard about it?
No.
Okay. If a report like that was to be true, because it's not something of today, it's something of years ago. If a report like that was to be true, and you were the head of the SAPS, what action would you have taken about, especially that I hear that you sometimes act as a police commissioner, what action would you have taken where you get a report that there is a consignment of cocaine transported by members of the SAPS illegally from KwaZulu-Natal to Gauteng? We're saying this because we've been told that the alleged perpetrators are still at work as we speak today.
I will summon intensive investigation to be undertaken into that matter. I will monitor constant reports, and if need be, I will get the team outside of the area that is mentioned for objectivity and for the speedy investigation of the matter. It has to be investigated immediately.
The allegations that you have heard, which have now gone viral, coming either from the platform of this ad hoc committee or from the Madlanga Commission about your colleagues in the SAPS, some of them saying them themselves. How do you feel about such statements? When you watch on television like now, your colleagues are aware that you are here, they are following us with you. You might have watched the appearances of some of your colleagues either here or at the commission. And there have been some spine-chilling revelations that have been made about some of your colleagues. As a senior police officer in this country, how do you feel about such spine-chilling revelations?
Embarrassed, Chair. They are embarrassing, but they need to be dealt with, because my belief is every allegation needs to be investigated. One person that is rotten cannot taint the whole organization. SAPS, it's too big to be tainted by one person. While I'm admitting that...
It's not one person, it's not one person. There are many. If you had... if you have been following the proceedings, there are many, and they themselves implicate themselves in the statements that they made. You are in the absence of General Masemola, is you, like you were there on that day of Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Yes, it was you.
They are embarrassing.
Yes, and you were presiding over an institute at the time, or the days that you were in office. The institution you presided upon included the very officers who now come before us or before the Madlanga Commission and say, this is who we are.
Chairperson, it's embarrassing. And I think with the current proceedings, it will send a clear message and it will serve as a deterrent for others who wish to follow the same. But to all the investigative teams, they need to find a way of rooting out. Hence, there are parallel investigations that are undertaken as and when these revelations are being presented to different platforms. So the department is not sitting back. The investigations are happening. If they need to be criminal investigations are instituted. Departmental investigations are instituted at the same time as the commissions to make sure that we clean and we leave this organization as pure and clean as it should.
Okay. So the last question from me would be that with the evidence that has been presented before us since we started, where you are standing even if you were to form an incomplete opinion, would you say that the SAPS has been captured or was on the verge of capture?
Maybe on the verge of being captured, Chairperson.
Okay. No, thank you so much. Honorable members, No, I'm not going to. No.
Chair, it's not a question, it's a housekeeping matter.
Yes, no, we will come to that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We must release the witness. Is there anything, General Mosikili, that you will wish to say before we formally thank you?
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to thank yourself, Chairperson, and to thank the members for the opportunity that I had to come and present and clarify. And I hope the evidence that I have shared with the committee today will assist the process going forward. Thank you, Chairperson, for your time. Thank you for listening to me as well. Considering that it is March, Chairperson, I think it came very silently that we are to observe a Women's Day very soon in a month.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let me thank you in this way that you are the first witness today to start with us and finish with us after what happened last weekend. We think you have set a very good example to the witnesses that will be coming this weekend. And next weekend, we hope that we can have witnesses like yourself who will stay the course of our proceedings. We want to thank you so much for being exemplary. And because we have come to the end of the proceedings with you, I'm going to release you. Or is there anything related to the witness that you want to ask? Okay.
Thank you so much for indulging me, Chair. I'm not asking a question. I just want to greet the General. No, Chair, I thought that maybe we would ask the General to submit to us in writing her thoughts on reforms. I kept quiet because I know you like that question, but I thought you would come there. On what reforms you would want to recommend that Parliament looks at in order to strengthen some of the weaknesses that you would have identified over the last couple of years. Thank you. It can be in writing, Chair.
Thank you. It can help us. You have been there for over 30 years. Yeah, you are an old bait that cannot be caught with chaff. Honorable Scosa.
I will, Chair.
Yes, she's done.
Ngiyathokoza Mgcinisihlalo ke re a leboha General gore re fedise le wena be ke re ko kwala mnyako today because the last time I could not. Thank you.
Honorable Scosa, you know, you couldn't close the door last week. No, listen to me. You couldn't close it when you were led in a combat. You know, Bonani, Honorable Samgon, he whispers to me and say, "How does the witness leave the chambers when we have the MK in uniform?" It's just on a lighter note. Thank you so much, General Mosikili, General Van Rooyen, and you said the other colleagues.
Lieutenant Colonel Parsons.
Parsons. Yes, Lieutenant Colonel Parsons. Thank you so much for your stay here with us. We want to thank you so much. We always give credit. The women that work with us here, they know how much credit we give for the excellence that they give us. And we want to thank you so much for the work that you are doing in the SAPS and the people of this country. And for sure you heard what Honorable Sangoni has suggested, that if time permits, just make for us a submission on the reforms that you think we can introduce, so that we have the SAPS that can serve the people of South Africa in a better way. Thank you so much. All the best. Honorable members, I want to give sit down, honorable members. Sit down. Remember, we have the second witness that we must take here. Yes, we have the second witness. I want to give Advocate Mkhize to make a presentation here on the second witness who has requested that the committee must give him an opportunity to make a written submission. Advocate Mkhize.
Chair, Honorable Skosana is standing up again when the witness is going towards the exit.
No, Honorable Skosana, just get the point that Honorable Nombalo is saying. Because you see, when you go out, I see members of the media want to follow you. I see they want to follow you, and at least today, there is nobody outside to talk to you, pointing a finger at you. Advocate Mkhize. Just a formality. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I do confirm that the witness arrived today. We consulted during lunch, and he informed me that, which I had already known and was aware of, not only from his statement, but I was aware of the fact that he had previously suffered a stroke, and particularly today, he will be unable to give oral evidence because the type of stroke that he had, he struggles to articulate, to speak. It impaired his speech. So we have agreed that he will give his submissions in writing to be circulated to the committee.
Do members accept that?
Yes, we accept.
MKP? DA?
We accept.
EFF?
Accepted, but noted that we should have known beforehand, before the witness came here, that he was unable to do that. Thank you.
Bangazita?
Accepted, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Sals?
We accept, Chair.
People are already saying we are a small ANC. So just to be clear, the PA speaks for themselves. We are not ANC light. We accept, Chairperson. This is not my chief whip.
Thank you so much. Honorable Vessels?
Accepted. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Matthews, you raised a housekeeping matter.
Thank you, Chair. I know everyone wants to go and I can already feel the daggers in my back. But on the matter of the screenshot of that email, if we had a forensic investigator, apparently we have one, but I don't know who it is. Ideally, we should have referred that because we can't just take the witness testimony that it isn't. So I'm going to request that our legal team in Parliament writes to SAPS, and they must tell us if this is a legitimate email address, has it ever been used, and all the emails that have come from that. In addition, there's also the GPL, which is the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and we must get official. They must investigate properly, not just randomly send us reports that are based on Paul O'Sullivan's investigations. And they must also tell us if that is a legitimate email, was it ever a legitimate email, and if it can be done urgently, please, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. And then earlier during the day, when you made a request for application of certain responses, the Secretariat was not here. Yeah, I'm just saying that the request that you made for further responses to be made to the committee, if you can remember it and sound it with the Secretariat so that
it's on record.
It's on record and
in the minute.
They don't miss it.
Thank you. It was on the case of the Lieutenant General, the one that she opened, the theft case, that she has indicated that IPID still has the docket. So we need to understand why IPID still has the docket. And then the actual IPID docket on perjury for the Lieutenant General. What is the status of that case? And the reason we're asking is that these open-ended cases against factions in IPID and high-ranking officials is costing this country, and ordinary South Africans are not getting justice because they spend more time opening cases and investigating each other instead of closing the matters. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sangon.
Thank you, Chair. Just a housekeeping matter, whether we've received a response from SAPS corroborating General Pahlane's evidence that the information Ms. Trend was downloaded legally. I'm worried that she's coming here in a day and we need to resolve that matter. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, a follow-up will be made on that matter. The last, honorable members, you can see at the rate at which we are going per day. Tomorrow, the committee has approved that 3 witnesses must come here. Is it going to be possible? Yes. No, I'm bringing it to your attention so that if there is any decision that has to be made here, remember we have Advocate Mashuga, and I suspect that you are going to need to have a full day with him. We have Honorable Faisal Adams tomorrow, and we also have Chetty from Public Submissions. Is it going to be possible from your experience? It's very possible.
Chairperson, our understanding is that public participation witnesses are managed differently. They're given a set time for presentation, which I think was 45 minutes. So we do that 45 minutes and then we question. It should be possible, Chairperson. We submit. Thank you.
Okay. And then we take Mashuga, we take Adams.
Chair, I always believe in raising a hand, but I see like you're not recognizing me.
No. I'm rotating.
Oh, you're rotating?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait. Thank you.
It's your time.
Thank you. I guess that I think once upon a time it happened here that we gave the witness an hour with the evidence leader. It will depend who's the evidence leader anyway. And perhaps the when I read the Machuga, Advocate Machuga, you are correct. That alone, that submission, by this time will not be not finished. To be honest, when you read it, you can go and read it again. You know, and perhaps unless you say that you'll give us 20 minutes, members, and you give an evidence leader at most two hours. Then we can have 2. Adams, we can end up with Adams. Adams is one of our honorable members. Even if you shift him for next week, is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kola Barnett.
Yeah, Chair, I'd be very hesitant to say put Adam somewhere else. It's been hard enough to get him here. I think he's been put off, and they're not available and not arriving and disappearing. I think we need to stick with him above all others, because if we say come another day, then it'll be ducking and diving and trying to find him again. So I'm not wishing to be rude, but I am being.
Okay. Honorable Matthies.
Chair, it's very difficult because sometimes we don't have these statements, so we don't know the extent of what it is being told. And Honorable Adams, he's already told me on the corners that he is going to spill beans. So I think we must just give him his time because he has been heavily implicated. So I think we must just put him.
Bangazita.
Well, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I would also request that we get the statements in time, especially Honorable Adams' statement. And if he's going to be spilling beans, I think we have heard that before. And Mkhosi was here. He said
the beans were never spilled.
I'm yet to see the beans being spilled. Yeah. Thank you.
Honorable Souls.
Yeah.